Kimberly, welcome. I am so delighted that you decided to say yes to the Wishbeads podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I was very excited that you asked me to be part of your wishing podcast.
Well, you know what? You have an extraordinary story. And I think it was really, we heard about, how the work that you're doing and how it came to be when you decided to jump on my Instagram live that I do in the mornings, the Wishwork and whatnot. And it was only about 2 minutes in when I thought, oh my gosh, we've got to do a podcast together. So tell me, let's go back oh boy, where do we even begin? First of all, tell us about your organization. Let's just start right there.
Sure. So my organization is Closet of Caring. And we had really, really fast and really kind of a crazy start. We were launched last November 1st, and we had
of 2020.
Yep, we had no intentions of launching. My husband and I went to serve a meal with my friend Nathan Walden. He owns the shop Hope Soap here in town in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. And he also founded the Love Truck, which is also a nonprofit that serves a meal to the homeless community once a month. So my husband and I, JR, had gone with Nathan just to serve a meal to the homeless community. And I love Nathan very much, but punctuality is not his strongest suit. So we were there early and sitting in the car, and JR's like, what do we do? What do we do? And I was like, I'm just going to talk to folks. I'm just going to get out, and he will tell you, anybody who's met me will tell you, a stranger, just a friend you haven't met yet. And so I got out and I just started talking to people, and it didn't take long before we moved beyond the trivial, the weather and the Ohio State game later in the day and things that were going on. And something just came over me, and I just said, how else could I serve you? How else could I help you? And what else do you need beyond, a meal? And it's so amazing. And it's such a huge undertaking to do these meals. It involves so many volunteers, and, it's really expensive because we will do a meal, but we only do it on holidays because it is a lot of work and it is a lot of money. But, I don't know about you, but I like to eat 3 times a day. And, and there's so many other things when you think about it that we need clothing and hygiene and all these things. And I was just so moved. This one lady asked me, should I'd really love to give my nephew a hoodie? And I was like, I have 10 in my closet. And I was like, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And we were serving, and I couldn't shut my brain off. And I went home that night and I just kept thinking. And I got up the next day, and I launched the Closet of Caring Facebook page on November 1st, and in the middle of a pandemic. And the next time I'm angry at my husband, remind me that he is a good man, because in the middle of a pandemic, I just started asking people to leave things on my doorstep. And I asked people, I just put it on every free page and town page. And I said, instead of bringing things to a random Dropbox somewhere, because people weren't taking donations, most places that normally accept them weren't. And people did leave me everything. And it's been a learning curve. I am now very much in a groove. I'm very, very active. So now we're in a groove, and I know exactly what I'll take and what I won't, and, where I channel things. But, they left literally everything. And in the course of like 2 weeks, because it was right around Thanksgiving, and we had gone to see family, and I had come home and my entire garage was full. There is a photo on our Instagram, and it was just legit like full. And I called a couple of friends, and I was like, I am having a severe anxiety attack. There's no amount of Valium that's going to calm this down. Please help me.
My God.
And that's how we started. And we started out in the garage, and now we have a room. We've reconfigured our laundry room, and it's now our room in our house. And we go out once a week. That's our version of church. We go out every Sunday, and we bring clothing and snacks and hygiene bags. We call them blessing bags. drawstring backpacks full of hygiene items and wipes and snacks and pretty much anything that you would need to get ready for the day in the drawstring backpacks, because most of these folks don't have anything to carry their stuff in. And we tell them that they can, take as much as they need, whatever you can use. And they go shopping and take what they need, and we hook them up with a snack and some water, and and when they're done, then we head out. And every holiday we do a meal. This weekend's Memorial Day, so we're going to grill. We're going to grill ahead of time because it's easier that way, but we're going to grill, and then we'll take them some hot dogs and hamburgers and have a little picnic, and that's it. That's
Kimberly, I mean, you say that's it. It's really like there's so much that's here. And just even to zoom back, this idea, because I'm so in awe, because I know that there are communities that are homeless right now, and they seem, it seems overwhelming. I will say that. And you have this idea of when's almost a natural human reaction when you're presented with something that appears overwhelming is to shut down. It's to sort of shake your head and say, like, how do they even begin? And even with a community here in Los Angeles where they have allocated so much money for serving the homeless community, and it just seems like homelessness is exploding still. They just cannot. Whatever they're doing doesn't appear to be working. And yet, when you simplify things, because it feels like there must be committees and all of, there's so much bureaucracy and all of that. And yet when I hear your story, it began with that human conversation where you just followed your heart and your curiosity and your humanity and started there and looked for this path to be revealed, like just by saying, what do you need? How can I serve you? And I think that what a powerful reminder for anybody listening, that instead of our minds getting us all jacked up thinking that we're powerless over a situation, there's likely some path forward that can be in service as part of the solution. It's just incredible. Do you, and then also, by the way, people listening, everyone listening and watching, can you direct us to your website? Because one thing that just surprised me so much when I went to your website the first time is how established it looks, how professional everything looks.
I cannot take credit for that. I do have to say, I have been very blessed that, and if I had known that people were watching, you said podcast, and I was like, oh, nobody's watching, I don't have to put makeup on.
Oh, you look fantastic. Don't worry, most people just listen.
If I had known people were watching, I would have
No, it's all good. Nobody cares.
But that's what I do every day. Like I go on TV and it's just leggings and a shirt and
perfect. Nobody cares. That's another lesson about life, everybody. Don't be so self-conscious. Nobody cares. Nobody's paying attention.
I would have worn a Closet Caring shirt though, but I am rocking my I Love Love shirt.
Oh, like I just
got I Love Love. Yeah.
I love love.
Me too. She's so great.
Yeah.
But so our website is closetofcaring.org. We're also on Facebook at Closet of Caring and Instagram closet.of.caring. And I cannot take credit for the website at all. I'm one person and I am we're currently a one-woman, just me, run organization. And I joke that my husband picks things up and puts them down, and that's his job. But he also deals with me because it is very overwhelming sometimes, and I do admittedly lose my stuff because it's a lot, and it's been 7 months here. We've just done this thing and it's kind of just exploded and become its own thing, and I'm so grateful for it, but it is sometimes a lot. But I cannot take credit for the website. I had put out there, just kind of into the universe that I did want to do a website. And my friend Tori Tedesco, who she does Little Birdie Designs, she's a friend of mine through knitting, actually, and I thought that was her full-time gig, to be honest with you. And I had put it out there, and she contacted me privately, and she's like, my full-time job is actually graphic design. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. I just thought you were a super talented knitter. And so she graciously, she's like, I can't donate in other ways, but I would be happy to do this website for you. And it's beautiful. And every time I go to update like a list or add something somewhere, I'm always so petrified that I'm going to screw it up, because she did this amazing job. And
but isn't that astonishing that when you put your energy forward, the universe or the powers that be, or whatever you want to call it, things start to line up and support you. And in those moments that you feel overwhelmed, those signs, that your own story of like, can you believe this, 7 months and you're a 501c3, if I'm not mistaken, you got.
We have filed all the paperwork.
Okay. You filed the paperwork, which is also huge in and of itself.
Yeah.
So there's so much momentum in the tiniest bit of time. And so I don't know. I find that phenomenal. I really do. I find that phenomenal.
We had lived here for our 1-year anniversary of living here in Cuyahoga Falls was February 26th. And on February 24th, I had filed all of the legal paperwork with the Secretary of State and got our EIN number and filed with the IRS. So government time is its own time. So it is coming. It is with the IRS, and we are just waiting, but we will. Yeah. We will be a 501c3 here this year. So
that's incredible. And think of the impact that it's having in your new community. So you can step back if you're stepping into a new situation and say, oh, well, I just got here. I'm just going to, kind of play it safe. But instead you just ask yourself, how can I serve? How can I serve? It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's just, and you can be one person. You can be one person and do something, anything. And I've had people contact me and say, I want to go, I've done a couple of bags, and can I, as a family, they've put together, I had one woman contact me, and she brought over a box of, her and her family had done like gallon-sized Ziploc bags, and they had made little blessing bags on their own, and they had brought them to be distributed. And, people go and collect things. And one of my favorite people, her name also is Kim, and she had done an office drive. So she put a box out in the office, and over time they had collected, toothbrushes and toothpaste and socks and whatever. And, it takes a village. And that's what I tell people all the time is, I might do the dirty work and, get my hands dirty, but I can't do all of that without all of you. It takes the people leaving stuff on my doorstep, and it takes people sending donations, and, everything costs money. That's what I always joke to people, that the world doesn't run on Dunkin'. And I think that's a very common misconception, that as a nonprofit, you don't need money, but you do.
You totally need money. You need money. You need money. And money is a beautiful energy that can make things happen, people.
And, our website, while Tori was so amazing and built it costs money to run. And, I've to date not put gas in my car with charity money, because we're just not at that stage yet, but my car certainly does not run on air. So at some point I would like to start, putting gas in my car.
Absolutely.
Because that's all of the running around that I do. But everything, just everything does cost money.
And of course, we are going to put links so people can donate directly to Closet of Caring. We're also in the works with some initiatives that we're doing with Wishbeads to help support Closet of Caring.
Which is so exciting. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I can't talk about, I'm going to add a little bit to this podcast once it's ready, so people can know what I'm talking about, but get ready for that. But I also think that there is something so powerful for anyone who has an inkling of a dream, something that your heart is calling you to do, that by doing the thing, you are going to grow. It is going to push you way out of your comfort zone. And you can't just think about it. You have to do it. So what are some of the ways that, with the challenges, you have grown personally, that you already can recognize the gifts of your taking on this challenge?
I would say the biggest one would be So it's not directly related to homelessness, but when I started the nonprofit, I knew that on a personal note that I wanted to do something with domestic violence. My best friend was the victim of a domestic violence murder suicide in 2005. And that effect obviously changed my life. And that affected me very negatively for a long time. How I functioned, how I didn't function. And I myself am a survivor of some different forms of domestic violence and a rape survivor. And so it's something that is very, very important to me. So when I started the charity, I knew that I wanted something to do with that. And at the beginning of this, like I said, if you look, there is a picture, and my garage was just full. And I took everything. I took women's clothes, I took men's clothes, but for every 100 people that I see typically 99 men, and I might see one woman. So at some point, I had to stop. I had to stop taking women's clothing because I didn't see enough women. And right now we are run out of my house. My big dream is to have a building where I can have, a food pantry and clothing, and people can do the same thing, come and take what they need and, pay what they can if they can anything and whatnot. But that will come with grant money and as our financial situation grows and whatnot. But I still wanted to do something to help women like me that have survived, and help women like my friend that did not. And in Dina's memory, I decided to do something with the Domestic Violence Project, which is in North Canton, which is about 35 minutes from where I live. So we collect women's clothing, and for Mother's Day, we did a hygiene drive. We collected 2,533 pieces of feminine hygiene pads, tampons, all of those things.
Wow.
Boxes of shampoo and just whatever, things that women need. And so we do that on a monthly basis. I just actually went up there this morning and brought 14 garbage bags full of clothing up there. So that's something I do at least once a month. But that for me is so healing. And that is something, if you think about it, it's been 16 years.
Wow.
And you can sit in your pain or you can grow from it, but it took me 16 years to get to that point where I could use it to grow. And
so powerful. It's so powerful. That's I just want to recognize how beautiful that statement is, because it sounds as if you did take a good deal of time to be in one place emotionally and physically and otherwise, mentally, spiritually. And then when somehow the part of you knew it was time to transform that pain into power and to giving back and selfless giving and compassion. And it's really an inspiration, Kimberly. It really is. What a way to honor her and her memory.
She was supposed to be my maid of honor at my wedding in May that year. And she was killed in January. And I've had her dress hanging in my closet for 16 years. And I still have it. And this year I reached out to my contact at DVP and I said, it's time. And through this work, I've healed enough that I'm ready to relinquish that. And if you know somebody, and we haven't hooked up with somebody yet, but actually this is a great opportunity too. And I would ship it. So I didn't even know this until I was just talking to you, but if I'm going to open it up here too. If you have a story that you would like to share with Alexa or with me or something, I will have to get you what size it is. I think it is a size 6 or an 8. I don't know, but it is a lavender gown. It has been hanging in my closet for 16 years. And it's time. I want to gift it to somebody, and I want to gift it to somebody in need. And
wow.
So if you are somebody that is in need, that you have a formal event, and you cannot afford the dress for that, I very much want this to go to someone that needs it, that can't afford it. And I will be happy to ship that to you.
Okay. Oh boy. And I am this is so beautiful, Kimberly. I mean, when you think about the name of your organization is Closet of Caring, and you have been carrying this this dress of your friend who is no longer here. And it is like there's so many things happening right now that my mind and my heart are just kind of exploding for a moment. But it's so beautiful. It is such a powerful gesture. I would love to add that I will also add a beautiful amethyst bracelet and necklace to match so we can infuse this situation with love and with possibility and with transformation. So absolutely, we will do, when we launch this, Kimberly, this podcast, we will do an announcement to put this out there of this beautiful gesture to let Dina's memory live on and live with love, and enshroud whatever lucky person gets this with all of that, with all that love and new possibility and transformation. So when this goes live next month in June, it's a perfect time to wear a beautiful lavender formal occasion, maybe a graduation.
Yeah, graduation,
maybe a wedding.
Yeah.
Yes. So. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. All right, we're going to do it. This is I love how things just sort of drop in.
Comes together. So.
Yeah, it comes together. Mm-hmm. And I also know that you have shared, because along the same lines of this idea of turning pain into possibility, into positivity, your story that you shared with us on the live also really took me aback, because you have your own sort of challenge with experiencing homelessness. Do you feel comfortable sharing that?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I'm a firm believer in transparency, and that's, if you go through something awful and you keep it bottled up, it will eat you. It will eat you, and B, if you can share it with somebody and it helps even one person, then it's not all in vain. I'm a chronic illness sufferer, and I'm very transparent about the myriad of weird, complicated things that go on in my body. And some people are like, that is kind of personal. And I'm like, it might be kind of personal, but also, like, I've had people drop things off my doorstep and they're like, that surgery you just had, do you mind? And I'm like, nope, I don't mind at all. And they're like, well, I haven't even talked to my daughter about that, but I kind of think that might be that's what's going on with me. And I'm like, I will tell you all about it, and then I will give you my doctor's phone number. And so I believe in transparency, because you never know who you're helping. And but no, that it all kind of ties together. Actually, the first time that I experienced homelessness, I was driving to work. I was on the interstate, and I blacked out. It was quick, but I blacked out on the highway, and I pulled over, and when I kind of came to, I didn't know what to do. So I finished driving to work, albeit slow, and I got to work, and I had somebody take me to the emergency room, and that started a 6-month myriad of a bajillion tests, and led to a diagnosis of fibromyalgia, which then led to like 20 more diagnoses of all these weird different things. But in that period, I went from running a business and doing business management and all of these things, and I thought I was all set, to I lost everything. I didn't have anything. I ended up living in a travel trailer in somebody's yard, and it's Connecticut in the middle of winter, and there's like 12 inches of snow on the ground, and I'm living in a travel trailer with no heat and peeing in a Dunkin' Donuts cup. And it's, while there are walls and I'm not sleeping on a park bench, I'm also peeing into a Dunkin' Donuts cup in a travel trailer with no heat. So there are varying degrees of houselessness. And so it's not something that I take for granted ever. And I come home every time we do distribution, and I look at my husband, and even on days that I don't feel well, and I might have a migraine, or my fibro's acting up, or whatever, whatever it is, I'm having a bad chronic pain day, or I don't feel like going, and because I am human, and it is a lot physically, and it's a lot mentally. Mental illness is a huge issue in the houseless community, and So it's a lot. It's a lot when you are having a bad day, because I am human and I do have bad days. And so it is a lot to go and put on your happy face and try to be encouraging to everybody. And when you're taking care of people, and to go and take care of people for a period of time when you yourself feel like crap. But every time we go, I leave, and it's, it fills you up. It fills you up, and it's healing. And I never take for granted when we come home into our beautiful house, and, it's warm or it's cool, whatever it is, if it's wintertime, because we go out no matter what, and we'll go out in the snow, and then I come home when it's warm, and we'll build a fire, and it's just, we'll watch TV, and it's just the simple things, make a cup of tea, and it's nice. And I feel guilty. I feel guilty that I have these things, and it's almost overwhelming to wrap your head around, and it's a crazy concept. And people look at, we're by no means rich at all, but we've worked hard, and but from 9 years ago, when I was peeing in a Dunkin' Donuts cup in a travel trailer, to our life now, it's obviously a black and white difference to what the situation is. And I guess the moral of that story is that don't give up. Don't give up, and things can change. So
Kimberly, it's such a powerful, there's so many layers to this. I think that's why I was so blown away when you and I finally spoke, because first of all, what you're doing in terms of the impact that you're having in the community is heroic in nature. And then you add the fact, no, it is, because it's so much easier to sit and say, oh, that's somebody else's problem, or those poor people, or judge, or whatever. But here you are,
and people, we're all humans,
Right. But then you have an added layer that there is a physical challenge on top of it. So that, right there is so profound that you, while experiencing fibromyalgia and all the other things, still find the personal power to get up and do and be in service and keep going, even with your human moments. And then you add the other layer that this was part of your own story, which I can now see that when you were standing there that first time, that sense of empathy and the power to say, how can I give back? And it to me, there's such a humility there, that really that potential humility exists in all of us. We never know what our story is going to be. When we sit in judgment and think those people, it could be us. Mm-hmm. We realize that we're all here to help one another, to be a force for good in this world. You're really exemplifying that, Kimberly. And I'm so inspired by your story, and really quite in awe of your story.
I think we're all, honestly, like, if you think about it, I tell people all the time, most of us are one paycheck away from homelessness. And if you look at that and really think about it in this day and age, most of us don't have, especially the younger generation, I'm not particularly old, I'm only 38. But most of us don't have, the 6 months of savings they say you should have. And,
right.
If we were to lose, and that's what happened to me, I got sick and I couldn't drive, I was pseudo paralyzed for a month. I was running 3 miles a day. I was running half marathons. I had run 6 at the time, I think, in a triathlon, and I was running 3 miles every morning. And then I just woke up one day and I couldn't feel my legs. And so I couldn't drive. I couldn't go to work, and just all these crazy things happened. And you don't know.
You don't know.
I had lost 100 pounds through diet and exercise. Everything was gravy. I was at the top of my game, and then I can't walk, and I needed help to go to the restroom or take a shower, do these things. And, I was young. I was in my 20s. I didn't have 6 months worth of savings. So if you just think about it, like, what if that could be anybody. I
Yeah.
didn't even know what the heck fibromyalgia was. I didn't know how to say it, spell it. I had never heard of it. And now I'm like, I was afraid I'd never walk again, never mind run. And it just, and that changed the whole trajectory of my life. And
Yeah.
so it is, we are people, and that's the important thing to remember. And honestly, when I go out and my husband and I go out and we serve, most of the homeless people, even with the mental health issues, most of the homeless people that we interact with and we talk to, they're kinder than folks that I encounter on a day-to-day basis. Like
Wow.
they are. They're always thankful and, God bless you, and yes, ma'am, no, sir. And, they might, some of them flip a switch pretty quick, if they get upset or what have you. But they're very polite, and you'll see them, we typically can fit like 8 totes into our vehicle. And as they go through things, they're always cognizant of not taking more than they need. And they'll pick something up and be like, that's really nice, but I don't really need it, and somebody else can probably use it.
Wow.
And I'll think of like going to TJ Maxx or, whatever the images of people. I don't Black Friday shop because I can't deal with that. But the images of people like on Black Friday, and they're running over each other for a $5 crock pot. And these people are legit sleeping in the park, and they're like, no, it's okay. Like, somebody else probably needs that more than me.
Yeah, it's quite a lesson.
It astounds me. It's something that we can all kind of take away and just think about it. The back of our shirt say, when you have more than you need, build a longer table, not a higher fence. And that really is what we strive to do and to teach people.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Kimberly, thank you so much for your story, and thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And I know that this is really the beginning of a relationship, more than like, thank you very much. Let's donate a dress and be on our way. Oh, no. You're really a great teacher. And
you got the happy birthday song, so now you're in.
Oh, I'm so excited. Kimberly sang me and sent me a video of her singing happy birthday on my birthday. I was so psyched. I love it. I am very honored. I'm delighted that I'm on your list. I look forward to it next year. That is fantastic. But I also would love, you touched on it, and I want to emphasize it a little bit more, because I want this to be something that we keep our tabs on. And that is, your space, your big wish, what you envision for what you're creating in your community. Mm-hmm. And so can you share us a little bit more about what you envision for this space and this place, and the support and the money and all the things to create lots of closets of caring, food closets and clothing closets and toiletry closets, and what do you see, so that we can help see it in our mind's eye, but also to actually help you make it happen?
Mm-hmm. So I have my big wish, my biggest wish. Well, I have three Wishbeads, and they all have different wishes, and then they're all closet related. One is that we finally get our certificate, so I can have that and move forward with that. The other is that I would love to have a space, and it's not necessarily that I don't want. At this point, half of Ohio knows where I live, so it's not necessarily that. It's just that I would love to have a space that is accessible for the people that I serve. I want to go to part of the undesirable neighborhood that's close to the homeless shelter, probably on a bus route, somewhere within walking distance, that people can come in and they can take what they need, and they can get snacks, and they can get a beverage, and a few days a week they can do hot meals, and maybe it'll be run by myself and volunteers. And maybe as people are getting rehabilitated or moving into new apartments, and, working with social services or something, maybe they can volunteer a few hours a week. But I want that to be something. And I've always been in awe of Bon Jovi's Soul Kitchen, where people can, it's a place in New Jersey, it's Bon Jovi's restaurant. You can go in and you can eat a meal. And if you can pay, you can pay. And if you can't, you can't. And it's literally, you pay what you can. And that kind of was what I thought at the very beginning of this. That was my big dream. So that's my biggest one, is at some point I would really like to be able to do that. So people can just come whenever, and it's not just a Sunday. Also, it gets really cold in Ohio in the winter, so it's it's cold to be outside.
Is there a clothing manufacturer, or is there like a sponsor or a brand like the Bon Jovi of something or other that comes to mind that might be interested in helping underwrite this?
There might be. I think a lot more opportunities will open up to us once we get our 501c3 certificate.
Of course.
So that might be, larger companies are obviously more apt to donate things once they can write them off.
Oh,
we
of
have
course.
been very fortunate that thus far we have had people that were gracious enough to donate. And when we do meals, we are always fortunate. We have a couple of MVPs that always PayPal or Venmo or what have you, to help us cover the holiday meal costs. And we almost never have a problem with clothing donations, because we do literally all have more than we need.
Great.
And then we have an Amazon wish list on the website, so people anywhere can send hygiene items and whatnot. So, but that's my big wish. And then I had this vision only a couple of days ago, but I just think it would be the coolest thing. I want to order one of those maps that you can kind of cut out picture, like a picture of, a lot of couples do it, like a picture every time they go on vacation, and put it in the state. And I think it would be so neat to have somebody from every state in a Closet of Caring t-shirt, and just to kind of spread the word and spread the awareness. And it's got our website on the back. So when people are like, they're tie-dye teal, which is the color of sexual assault awareness, and they have our logo here, and they say, when you have more than you need, build a longer table, not a higher fence, with the closetofcaring.org on the back. So they're really hard to miss. And my thought with that when I created it was that it's a brand recognition. You can't miss it. Every time you see this t-shirt, you're going to think of Closet of Caring. And one day we're going to get so big that it's going to be like, that's a Closet of Caring shirt. And I would love to have people in every state have a Closet of Caring shirt and email me a picture so I can make this collage and have it. And I just think that would be so cool.
Okay. So we just have to talk about this for a second, because when you get an idea like that, inspiration where you see it, you feel it, and I can see you've got a big smile on your face. I can feel the energy of wouldn't that be so cool? These are the moments that writing them down in vivid detail, that idea of yes, and imagine this, and then we're going to do this and that. Yeah. Suddenly you have a map of the pin in the map of the destiny, of just one idea. It's not to say you can't have multiple wishes or multiple ideas or all the rest of it, but there's something in you that feels and sees and imagines and pictures this giant map. So maybe that moment is you're standing in the map and you see all the pictures of all the people all over the place. And then you can zoom back in real world and say, okay, well, what would you need? Okay, well, we need a design. Okay, well, maybe my girlfriend who made the website, she can be design the t-shirt. And then we need a t-shirt sponsor.
Oh, they're up on the website. I made the design. They've been up. It just kind of was,
awesome. So then maybe
it's been up for a little while, and I was just I wanted to have this branding thing. And I was driving home the other night, and I don't know why, it just kind of came to me. And I was I just had this vision of a map, and I was like, how cool would that be to have, because that's part of it's not just about helping people. It's about the awareness, and it's about, it's not just Kimberly Stimmel in Closet of Caring. It could be Alexa Fischer helping, in Closet of Caring. It could be, you can go out with your kids and make a blessing bag and hand it. I have 5 of them in my car right now. Yeah. When I pull off the highway and you see that guy, instead of locking your doors and looking the other way, roll down your window
and give him a blessing bag
and just hand him a bag and say, hey, sweetie, have a great day. And you know what's going to happen? He's not going to stab you. he's going to say, God bless you, ma'am. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Every single time.
So Kimberly, I love this. And maybe there's, I'll look and see what's on your website, but I can see a t-shirt and some instructions about how do you bring closet of caring, how do you create your own closet of caring in your state. And part of buying that t-shirt is your commitment to do X, Y, and Z, and then send you a picture. Yes. I can do California. I got California. But, for people that are listening and watching, why not? Let's try to get every state. Anybody who has a state, just be like, yo, I've got Connecticut, I've got such and such, I've got this and that. Why not? We're going to do all kinds of things. And guess what? This launches in June, which is a perfect time to rock your t-shirt. And I would love to also do this initiative with you. And you're going to be our special Wish Circle guest at the end of the month on June. So we've got fun things to do, friends.
It's going to be so good. I can't wait.
It's going to be so good. But really what I love is not only are you experiencing the energy, the feeling of making your wish come true, but it is so beautifully in service to others. And that truly is the ripple effect. So, this intention, this idea, this love, this commitment, this overcoming those moments where you feel tired and not wanting to do the physical work that needs to be done. You are such an example in action, love in action. And that certainly is an inspiration for me personally. I have to imagine will be an inspiration, especially Kimberly, your example that your pain, your obstacles, your story can be such a great teacher. And we don't know it in the time. We don't know that this life-threatening illness or this challenge or the wrong accusation or whatever drama that is happening in our life can feel so all-encompassing and impossible. And yet, what you experienced 9 years ago, living in that travel trailer, wow, somehow has perfectly positioned you to do the destiny work that you're doing right now and the impact that you're having on the lives of others. That's really a tribute to you and to your success story, your story of transformation. But it's also a wonderful reminder for people listening and watching that are feeling that moment of my world feels like it's so difficult, so dark right now. And you just don't know what the future has in store for you and the light at the end of that proverbial tunnel.
Always a light. I tell my son that all the time. He was having a bad day the other day. And I told him, I said, 5 years ago, my life almost ended, and it had, almost all to do with fibromyalgia. At the time, I was having problems walking up the stairs. And again, I went from this thing where I lost all this weight and, I was running all the time, and I couldn't go to the grocery store by myself. I couldn't get up the stairs, and I made an attempt at taking my own life, and I spent a week in the hospital, and I look back at that now, and I say that because, again, transparency, and as you said, there is a light, and for anybody that is depressed, that's thought about that, or that is in that dark space, I feel you, and I understand you, and I see you, and I love you, and there is a brighter day, and it will come, and I promise. And I am a testament to that, because I spent 5 days. I spent 5 days in a hospital after that. And, and they told me that I shouldn't have woken up, and I did. And, now I'm able to have this beautiful life that I often think I don't deserve. And, and I am able to serve others and to help others. And that is because my best friend, my roommate, came home and found me that day. And, everything you go through, even if it's crappy and even if it sucks and whatever, it happens for a reason. I certainly didn't think peeing in a Dunkin' Donuts cup and living in a travel trailer in 12 inches of snow at the time was a great situation. But 9 years later, it's made me very relatable to the people that I'm serving. And it's put me in this space that I literally cannot think of anything else that I should be doing with my life. And I most definitely did not set out to form a nonprofit organization and, do all of this and all these sorts of things and whatever. And, I wouldn't have ever thought of giving a stranger my address in my life. And, we had I planned a community art sale last weekend as a part of a fundraiser, and, we're doing live videos and whatever. And just literally everybody in town knows where I live. And I don't feel afraid about it. You have to harness that. You can choose to, you have to turn your fear into faith and, grow from your pain. You can sit in it or you can grow from it. And it might take you 16 years and you might have a dress hanging in your closet for 16 years before you're able to grow from it. But there are better days, and whatever your thing is, whether it's helping other people and handing out blessing bags or going back to school or whatever it is. I just think that's such an important message for people to know that, if you're listening to this, whatever even if it's the smallest wish, just even if it's getting out of bed and taking a shower because you're depressed, you can do it. And I see you, and you are loved. There are people that love you.
Kimberly, I just want to send a little love right back to you to say that you deserve all the happiness, success, love, joy, that you deserve all of it. You're an extraordinary woman with an extraordinary story and such bravery and such compassion and action. And I thank you. I thank you for the work that you're doing in the world. I really do. You deserve all of it. So, and I'm really quite honored that we can team up together and make some wishes come true.
Yes.
We can find a way to get that beautiful dress in the hands of somebody.
Yes.
And that we can raise money and direct people to sharing Closet of Caring, and imagine that maybe Closet of Caring, there'll be lots of closets all over the country, all over the world. And you'll show people what it means to take care of one another. Because we all have more than we need, more than we need.
Do.
And that idea of giving and showing up and serving is so beautiful and so necessary. And somehow humanity got this message that we have to be afraid, that we have to hang on so desperately, that there's not enough. And you're really living that example for other people. So thank you so much for your courage, and thank you for your story. It's really just such an honor. I feel so lucky. And when I think back on the miracles of how I met you, and I'm just so grateful for all the wonderful people that put us in touch so that our paths could cross, and who knows where they're going to go.
I know. I can't wait. It's very exciting. And it really is my pleasure. Miss Jana is for those of you who don't know, Miss Jana owns Celia's boutique here in Cuyahoga Falls. And that is how Alexa and I kind of circled around and came to meet, was we started carrying Wishbeads at Celia's. And so that's how this whole thing started. And Miss Jana is very much a maternal figure in my life, and I love her very much. So it's all part of the piece, all part of the circle. The universe works in wonderful ways. When Jana and I met, I started just emailing her on Instagram. This was 5 days after the pandemic, right after we moved here, everything shut down. And I just started emailing her and saying, I think you should do this, and I think you should do that, and list more things on social media. You have such beautiful things. Nobody can buy them if you don't post them online. And she could have thought I was nutso because she didn't have any idea who I was. I just thought her shop was really cute. And, 15 months later, I handle her social media, and, she's one of my best friends. So it's
so beautiful
here. So you never know what's going to happen.
You never know. So we'll put a link to Celia's boutique because it's so awesome. And they now carry Wishbeads.
Yes.
And it was because I jumped on, I think you and I communicated over Instagram because of the boutique.
Because
And then I saw the picture of the bins for the donations of Closet of Caring. And it was like, what is all of this?
Yep.
And it's so beautiful. And I want to also thank Steph Hathy, who was the store rep, not store rep, but she reps various jewelry lines. And she had reached out to me for 6 months because she loved Wishbeads. And at the time I couldn't, I was in a contract and we couldn't really work together. But I so loved her heart, and she really got what I was doing. And it was through Steph that I met, we connected with Celia's, and anyway, it just went on. And you just think, as you say, you never know.
You never know. Yeah.
But when you put yourself out there and you listen to your heart,
Mm-hmm.
and then just take a little bit of action with kind of, compassion and curiosity, like, well, I wonder what's going to happen. Then suddenly you start to see the signs and you start to connect things, and then you don't know where it's going to go. And we still don't know where it's going to go.
No, you literally never know. The worst thing that somebody can do is say no. People ask me all the time, like, you just picked up the phone and called this person. I'm like, what's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
They're either going to say yes or they're going to say no. Like, what's,
So
just
it's so funny. We all can be so uptight and like so afraid of looking embarrassed or hearing no. I was a professional actress for years. And so one of the things that comes with that territory is there's a lot of rejection, because if you're doing your job, it means you're going out on a ton of auditions. And with that comes a lot of rejection. And it really taught me so much about not taking that rejection personally. Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful muscle to build, because then you just like, well, what would happen if I, such and such, fill in the blank. So as you're growing, Kimberly, as you're, seeing and imagining, like, wouldn't it be cool? You already have this in spades, because I can see, you get on the news, you just reach out to somebody. Hey, why don't you feature me? Looking for a story. What about me? And beautiful.
And it takes time. It takes time. I'll reach out and it'll be 6 months. A perfect example is I got a call or an email back a couple of weeks ago, and I had no idea. And I'm sorry to this woman, but I had no idea who she was, because I had written her so long ago, and I just responded because I get so many emails. I'm sure you're the same way, but I get so many emails all the time, and I handle all of them myself. So I just responded to her. And then when she emailed me back, it had the official, news logo, and she's like, well, I'm going to come out and I'm going to do a video segment. And I was like, God bless America, thank God I was super professional, because I had no idea where she was from. But it all takes time to manifest. You just have to keep putting it out there, and sometimes you have to email people 5 or 6 times, and then but it all comes to be. And so you just have to be diligent about it. And as long as you're persistent, things come. Things
keep putting it out there.
For those who wait, just keep throwing it out there, and eventually people will listen to you, because they'll get tired. They'll get tired of your persistence.
Yeah. Well, your courage is contagious, my friend, and it's really having such a beautiful impact in the world. And I just thank you for your service. I thank you for your courageousness and compassion. It's beautiful. And we will be sure to do a follow-up podcast to hear all the miracles that have happened as a result.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's so great. Thank you, Kimberly. And once again, everybody, all of the links to Kimberly's site and places where you can donate goods through Amazon, Celia's Boutique, all the good things, especially as we do this giveaway for this amazing, beautiful, important dress, and, a set of Wishbeads. And even the campaign to get a Closet of Caring t-shirt in every state around the country. Yay. Let's make that happen. That seems super doable. That's like, a handful of t-shirts. Yeah. So let's make that happen. We'll put all the details for everything in the show notes. And at the end of June, Kimberly, you are our special Wish Circle guest. So you will also find a link to sign up for our Wish Circle, so we can really think about the impact that we want to make in the world. How can each of us be a vehicle for change, for positive change in this world? That will be our theme for June, especially as we transition ever so gently back into more of an open world. We have a little bit more capacity to connect, to give back, to breathe a collective sigh of relief, but also hold in our hearts a lot of the healing that has to happen after this really turbulent time. A lot of places in need. So we'll do that at our Wish Circle in June.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you.